Hi, I'm Sharon. I'm a kitchen designer for Benchmarks. I'm also a mental health first aider and I thoroughly enjoy my job. 2 years ago I was in a domestic violent relationship with my husband. It was physical, emotional, financial abuse, and I struggled in silence when I shouldn't have done. I have great friends and family that I could have opened up to, but I didn't think they wanted to hear about my problems. I didn't want to be here. I hated my life. It was the lowest point in my life ever. But I finally got the courage to speak out and I went to see my doctor, and it was the best thing I ever did. He was a massive support to me. He got me through to counselling, and counselling has made me who I am today. So it's really important to speak out. People do listen and people do care. I'm very happy with my life now. I'm Sharon and this is me.
Hi, my name's Dan. I live with my fiancée Beth, 3 children. On the 27th of October last year, I drove to a local beauty spot and sat on top of a rock on a cliff, rocking. I'd had enough. Not just COVID, but I was struggling and I didn't know how to deal with it. 30 years I've had thoughts like this. I didn't jump, obviously. I drove home, and the following day, a member of our regional team rang me just for a bit of a chat. Turns out it wasn't just for a bit of a chat. It turns out that my ABM had told him that she was worried about me. So he rang up with under the guise that he was just, while I was off, he was just making sure that I knew everything was okay in branch. Then we got chatting. And 45 minutes later, I told him things that I bottled up for 30 odd years. From that day, I changed again. And I'm in a better place. I still have doubts. I still question whether I'm right for this job. Question whether I'm going to be a good husband. I even still question whether I'm a good father or not. And I've done it 3 times. But that's it, isn't it? People think you haven't got anything to moan about. People don't know what's going off in your brain. Most of the time, you probably don't know. I've got a very supportive family, I've got very supportive work colleagues, and I've got a lot of people in my social life that are there for me too. But reach out, please, for your own sake and for the sake of the people who care about you, because they go through it with you too. Thanks for listening. My name's Dan, and this is me.
My name's Paul Hannah. I'm the electrical manager at City Plumbing Supplies in Halesowen. In my personal life, I hold a different role, which is daddy. I have 2 boys, one called Theodore and one called Alfred. My hobbies include fitness, so I'm very much into the gym. I also train in boxing and MMA. I was diagnosed with depression, low moods and anxiety. This was triggered through the breakup of the mother of my children. So after speaking to a couple of close friends, I was pointed in the direction of professional help, and the counselling was very hard. I was opening up about my mental health, about my suicidal thoughts for the first time. It was very, very difficult, very emotional. But at the end of each session, I felt as if I was growing, and it was just a sense of relief that things were moving forward in the right way. My name's Paul Hannah, and this is me.
Hello, my name is Dani. I have a 6-year-old firecracker named Eva. At 4 weeks of age, she was diagnosed with cystic fibrosis, a genetic life-limiting condition. I pretty much shut down. I didn't know what to do next, how to get out of this loop of control and sadness and worry and panic. And it just became something very big and strong in her first year of life. And so I spoke to a therapist. And that was amazing because it was a time for just myself and to express my concerns and to get feedback from a person that expected nothing from me, because it's very different when you speak to a therapist than when you speak to a friend or a colleague. And in the end of the sessions, I came out a different person. I genuinely did. I came out with tools, an understanding that there's a bit of acceptance in there as well, and how to deal with all of those doubts, and it did truly help me to get out of a place where I just couldn't see a way out. At that point as well, I started to meditate, and I cannot stress enough how much it has helped me. I do it twice a day, and it started with little moments of 10 minutes of gratitude, and then it progressed into something more as I needed it and as I started to understand myself. And I've accepted the help from others. I'm not ashamed of talking about my issues. I'm not ashamed of calling them out. I'm Dani. This is me.
So over the last 18 months, my daughter's been dealing with anxiety, which has manifested itself in a couple of scary ways, if I'm really honest. And we've learnt how to deal with that. She's learnt a lot, we've learnt a lot. We've had lots of support from our GP, from school counsellors, from family and friends. So as most parents, you put your kids first, you put other people first. It's quite natural in who we are and what we do. But that was at my expense, and I learnt a really important lesson, which was I really had to put my own oxygen mask on first and think about putting myself in the best place that I can be to support my family. Having a glass of wine to take the edge off the day felt great at the time, but actually really flattened my mood and made me a little bit more anxious. So I've taken a break from that for a while. The second thing is I found that walking every day religiously has been really important. So getting out, being in the fresh air, being outside, making time for myself and my husband to talk has been absolutely valuable. So those two things together have made a huge difference in my ability to cope with the challenges that life's thrown at me in the last 18 months.